One man stands in the way of Mia Love becoming the first black Republican woman in Congress. That is Democratic Congressman Jim Matheson, who is Love's opponent in the 4th Congressional District race in Utah. He joins us from Salt Lake City. Congressman, very good to see you here. Obviously, your opponent has gotten a lot of attention because she could make history here. Do you think your campaign has been overshadowed by possibility?
Listen, I think that ultimately all the national attention doesn't really matter about here in Utah. This is where the election gets decided, and in Utah, people know me real well. I have a pretty long family history in this state, and people know me well, and ultimately I think they care about the issues that we talk about. That's what's going on the ground here.
And Congressman, you are the lone Democrat in the Utah delegation. How do you think you've been able to actually survive in such a conservative environment?
Well, at the end of the day, what people appreciate about me is that I'm really not about party. I'm about just trying to do the right thing. I think most people in Utah are tired of all the partisanship and the bickering that dominates our politics today. And what they know about me is that that's not who I am. They know I'm a guy who works with anybody, regardless of where they come from. I put good ideas above party, politics, personal ambition. That's what they're looking for. So the approach that I've followed for all my time in office, I think in the year 2012, it matters that much more.
It is a very pragmatic approach as a member of a Blue Dog Coalition, fiscally conservative Democrat. But you are really a rare breed, actually. I mean, there are not a lot of moderates and Democrats and Republicans that are coming together in Congress in this sense. How do you change that? How do you actually work across the aisle? Because you've got this so-called fiscal cliff that is going to happen, potentially happen, with all these spending cuts and tax increases within weeks.
Look, first of all, the extreme elements of both parties are a problem. There's no question about it in Congress. There are too many people on the extremes of both sides. And if we're ever going to get something done, you have to draw some common ground and be constructive. That's what America wants. That's why most people in America are registering as independents. They're leaving both political parties. So that gives me confidence, and quite frankly, there's a core group in Congress of Democrats and Republicans that have the same attitude about trying to get something done. Oh, I know it's better to be an extremist. It's better to be on the cable channels if you scream from an extreme standpoint. That maybe helps. But for the more pragmatic approach, that may not be as exciting on TV, but that's how you make good policy.
Well, we prefer to talk to moderates as well. We don't need a lot of that screaming here. But are there enough of you, honestly, are there enough of you to come together and make a difference here? Because we have not seen that. We have not seen that the independent, moderate elements of either party survive, particularly the Republicans who have left, essentially, when you talk about Maine and Olympia Snow and all these others who, they put their hands in the air and say, forget it.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. The number of moderate Republicans and Democrats has decreased over the last 3 elections. We got to turn that around. That's what America wants. Ultimately, I think the political system's going to respond to that. We need more people who want to be constructive to get something done. And quite frankly, that's why I'm confident about this election. We do not need another person in the Utah delegation who's going to go back and just walk the party line. That's not how you get things done.
Finally, do you think that with Mitt Romney being a Mormon on the ticket in Utah, do you think that's going to be an advantage to your opponent, or does it really matter?
Oh, I think it's going to create a certain level of excitement. But let me tell you something. When you run as a Democrat in Utah, the Republican presidential candidate always runs up a big percentage. I'm used to that. I've dealt with this before. And what I appreciate about Utah voters is they really do have an independent streak where they take a look at each race on its own merits, the candidates in that part of the ballot, and they'll cross over and vote for me. I wouldn't be a member of Congress but for that fact. That's what gives me confidence today.
All right, Congressman Matheson, thank you so much. Appreciate your time, and we'll be checking back.